long time. So just take some time and tell us your story, vision to reality of kind of how Thunderhead started and what that journey's been like for you.
Sure. Well, I've always wanted to start my own business, right? When I got out of high school, I went to the military, spent a lot of time, well, about 7 years, doing Air Force stuff, and was daydreaming about how I was going to shape the rest of my life, how I was going to get ahead.
Sure.
And my first thought was, well, I'll go to work for my dad and drive a garbage truck, and I'll work my way up to the garbage business.
Okay.
And I got out of the military, came back, Gothenburg, started driving a garbage truck, and I found out I wasn't very good at it. Like, my mind is wandering all the time.
Right.
Like, miss dumpsters, customers, and somebody would be upset that I didn't pick something up, and they'd come out and start yelling at me, losing their mind, and I'd be kind of laughing. Not kind of, I would laugh. Because I just come out of a very intense situation in the military where it wasn't life and death very often, but sometimes it was, and everything was very serious. And this person's losing their mind about something silly to me.
Yeah.
So I just didn't take it seriously enough. But luckily for me, a larger trash company came along and bought my dad's business. Him and his brother had Schaben Sanitation. The name is still going out there somewhere. But,
right.
So when that got bought, I thought, well, I'm going to shoot my dad an idea. I've been homebrewing for about 9 years, and I thought that would be a fun thing to try. And so I asked him if he'd co-sign a loan for me to get started, and in exchange for it, he could have 50% of it. You know, 50% of nothing to lose, go for it.
Right.
And so that's how the first place got funded. I borrowed $80,000, co-signed by my dad, and spent about 8 years trying to figure out how to pay it back.
Yeah. And where did you start? Did you start here in Kearney?
Yeah.
First location?
About a block south of where we are right now.
Okay.
The Platte Valley, where the Platte Valley Brewery is.
Okay.
That's where we started. When we started there, it was empty, but right before we started renting that building, it was a pet store, and before that, it was like a garage, like a auto body or auto repair place.
Okay. All right.
Took a lot of work.
Yeah. And so what year was that you started?
We opened in '99, so we started working on it in '98.
Okay.
Took about 6 months of working on the building and getting licensed and everything to get open.
Okay. And you had the big brew tanks. My terminology's not going to be great here, but you had everything right there in the building.
We had the biggest soup pot you've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a really small brewery.
Yeah.
As far as breweries go, I think I'm 100% sure we were the smallest brewery in the country when we opened. And that was just because I'd never worked in a brewery before, I'd never run a brewery before. Like I said, I was in the military and then drove a garbage truck. I didn't know anything about food. I had a lot of ideas about how everything is supposed to work.
Right.
And so I just applied those and spent, a few years figuring out how wrong I was about everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that size literally was too small. Like the way the tax code's set up and how much labor it takes and all that sort of stuff. I could not figure out a way for that to both pay me and repay my loans and pay all my taxes and everything.
Right.
So we started out in a grow or die situation that we didn't realize for about 6 months.
Got it.
That's how.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, right?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have started it if I knew everything. I'd been like, wow, that's going to be terrible. Don't